Kristin Gutierrez, your host with Women in Localization's Ask the Expert. And today I'm here with Ulrich Henes. Hi, Ulrich, longtime friend.
Hi, good to see you,
Good to
Kirsten.
see you. Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Ulrich Henes. I am a native of Germany. I grew up in southwestern Germany and came to the US for an exchange program, met a charming young woman from Wisconsin, fell in love, and have been with her ever since. I now reside in Madison, Wisconsin, and my background in Germany is in business. I went to a business high school, did a management program at a German manufacturing company, and I was going to originally, focus on life in business. But then for about 10 years, actually, I took a break or a gap decade and worked in social change, anti-apartheid, anti-armament, and those kind of things.
So that's fascinating. The connection with having met a charming Wisconsin-based woman. But how did you get into localization then from your background?
Well, after we stopped doing the social change work, I went back to my first love business, got a job at a software company, international sales and marketing. And before you knew it, the word localization cropped up because we're having lots of clients in Germany, France, and I proposed as international sales and marketing manager to do a localize into Germany. And since I'm the one who said, let's do it, they said, do it. All right. And so I learned localization from the ground up.
I love that. It's like so many of us, right? How long did you do that? Like how long ago was that? When did you come to the
Uh,
US and
I came to the US in, I think, 84, and that was about later in the 80s, right?
okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
you went how then tell us how you went from there to what you do now and tell us a little bit about what you do now.
Sure. So I was international sales and marketing manager. Then I've worked for a localization vendor for 2 years. Actually, the vendor that I picked to localize our software. And then this was early days localization, and I realized there was a real thirst for information about localization. And I founded the Localization Institute at the end of 1996, did my first event in 1997, the Localization Management Roundtable in Pacific Grove, Asilomar, brought together 20 clients for 2 days, and the rest is history. So,
Oh, I didn't know that about the background. Okay, so for anyone listening, just tell us about the Localization Institute and what you do now.
well, the Localization Institute is focused exclusively on training, events, seminars, certifications in localization and global marketing. About 5 years after doing smaller events, I had the idea for Lock World and realized it was too big of a chunk for me to bite off. So I approached Donna Parrish, then at Multilingual Magazine. And Donna and I have been doing for almost 20 years, 2 and sometimes 3 Lock Worlds a year.
Yeah, well, great events for sure.
Oh,
And
thanks.
so in all of this, your experience from the 80s and beyond, what's some wisdom that you've learned from your career?
Well, you know, thanks for giving me a chance to say that. When I started my own company back in 96, I was afraid. I'm someone who tends to be very, just focus on the basics, no exaggeration, under promise, if anything, say sorry if you make a mistake. And I was afraid that that kind of very old-fashioned approach was kind of backwards and you couldn't really succeed in business. You needed to say really exaggerate and overhype. And my wisdom is actually, with hindsight now, with looking back 26 years, it worked really well to do that, not to, as you describe, that seminar, not make it sound way better than it's going to be, but just really trying to give a very accurate description of people will learn. And if you think they might think they'll learn something else, maybe even say this will not cover this and this and this, because if people experience that as quality, if they get what they think they bought, that will be quality, right? If they don't get what they think they bought, it will be experienced as lack of quality. So this very basic stuff, call it Boy Scout or Girl Scout values, actually, I would say is the core wisdom. I would want to say up, just it works really well.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. So to conclude, outside of work, what is something that you're passionate about?
Well, I love reading. I love nature, hiking, skiing, biking, those kind of activities. I'm not really an athlete per se, so I don't run, but I like being active, and I love traveling. That's what got me here to the US in the first place. I was not content to do this program, to do this service in Germany. And so I continue, being a poster child for this thing. Do what you love and the money will follow. Well, I love traveling. I love foreign culture and all of that. And I lucky guy who was able to turn that into a profession and into a job that I still love doing.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that with us. We appreciate
Thanks.
the value you add to our industry. So thank you so much.
Hey, thanks. Take care. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.